I stood in my driveway, staring at the empty spot where my Snowblower used to sit, just as the news blared warnings about the worst blizzard in 10 years. Then I saw her Linda struggling to haul my Snowblower across the icy street like she was starring in some wilderness survival show. She gave me a smug little wave. I returned it with a single-finger salute. No, this isn't MOVY. This is what happens when a nosy, power-tripping wannabe dictator picks the wrong neighborhood to mess with. Freeze frame. Yep, that's me, the guy whose private well Linda illegally tapped last summer to water her precious petunias. What did I do? I flushed her system with sewage. And trust me, that was just the opening act. It all started weeks before the storm. Linda, head of the fake HO, which, by the way, had zero legal authority, decided community standards included how often your driveway got cleared. Never mind that I work from home, barely drive in winter, and own the only heated, self-clearing driveway on the block. To Linda, self-appointed snow queen of Glacier Lane, I was the neighborhood's most wanted. I didn't ask for this drama. I moved here to escape people, just me, my dog Newton, in a peaceful corner lot surrounded by pines. But apparently that made me a recluse in her eyes. The HOA sent me 4 citations for nonsense like unwelcoming shrubbery and inadequate holiday lights. Once, I got dinged for not hanging icicle lights in October. Linda, of course, was the mastermind. Late 40s, loud hair, tracksuits that matched her tantrums. She ran the HOA like a petty tyrant, dishing out fines like candy corn and calling her board the committee. It was all fake power, but most neighbors just nodded along to keep the peace. Not me. The day before the storm, an anonymous HOA flyer slipped under my door. Classic Linda screaming in all caps that everyone had to keep walkways clear using shared resources. Translation: Linda wanted your stuff, and you were supposed to thank her for it. So I locked my garage and checked my security cams. Should have known that wouldn't stop her. The next morning, as I brewed coffee and watched the news, historic blizzard, roads impassable by noon, I glanced at the monitor. Side gate open. Garage ajar. And there she was, dragging my Snowblower across the street in broad daylight, bold as brass, wav-wying like we were pals. She didn't even try to hide it. God, Google Maps, and every doorbell cam on the block had a front row seat. I could have stormed out, called the cops, made a scene. But I didn't. Why? Because I knew something she didn't. I'd rigged that Snowblower with a GPS tracker last year after she borrowed my leaf blower and returned it clogged with glitter. Glitter? Who does that? So I sipped my coffee, opened the GPS app, and watched her stash it in her garage. 2 hours later, she posted on the HOA forum, shoveling walkways today. Let me know if you need help. We're a community. Oh, how noble, using my stolen gear to play the hero. Neighbors ate it up, especially the ones who'd never seen her lift a shovel before. It was all a show. Linda didn't care about unity. She craved control. And now, with the storm rolling in, she had the only Snowblower around. Well, my Snowblower. She's bold but sloppy, steals in plain sight, then brags about it. That's why I didn't confront her right away. I wasn't after an apology, I wanted a knockout. That afternoon, I prepped, food stocked, backup power ready, battery bank charged enough to juice an electric car for days. Then I made calls, one to a friend who rents out winter gear for ski resorts, another to the city clerk to confirm snow removal rules. Turns out, renting industrial equipment is fine as long as it stays on your property. That night, as snow started falling and Linda strutted around clearing her sidewalk like some icy warrior princess, I took Newton for a walk. She waved at neighbors, beaming, probably thinking she'd win another HOA Spirit Award. Her garage door hung wide open, flaunting my Snowblower like a trophy. She even smirked at me and said, "Glad someone's finally pitching in. Hope you'll join the snow team this year." I just nodded. "Oh, I'll pitch in," I said. "Big time." She didn't catch the hint. By the time I got home, the snow was so thick it felt like wading through static. I fired up my laptop and finalized the rental, a monstrous snow cannon, the kind that could bury a ski slope in an hour. It had arrived the next day, just as the storm's second wave hit. Linda thought she'd won by snagging my Snowblower. She didn't realize she'd also taken my patience, my last shred of tolerance, and the perfect push to get even. The real kicker came that night, right before the blizzard peaked. My feed showed her clearing her driveway, then aiming my Snowblower at mine, blasting chunky, wet snow across the street until my pristine, heated driveway was buried under 2 feet of her spite. I didn't flinch. I just confirmed the rental and poured myself a drink. Tomorrow was going to be epic, and Linda had no clue what she'd unleashed. When the snow cannon arrived, the neighborhood was a frozen wasteland, cars swallowed, power flickering, snow pouring down like the sky was drunk on winter. Linda stood triumphant, oblivious, as the flatbed rolled up with my beast of a machine. The rental crew craned it off, and one guy whistled. "Ski resort or revenge?" he asked. I grinned. Why not both? Linda didn't notice she was too busy basking in praise on the HOA app, claiming she'd cleared 4 driveways with my stolen gear. I checked the GPS. It was still in her garage, parked next to her SUV, which rumor had it had been towed thrice for creative parking. I waited until dusk, not just for drama, though that was a perk. The cold snap made the snow crusty, perfect for holding shape. Timing's everything when you're burying someone's house in a 6-foot ice wall. The snow cannon roared to life, a growling beast parked just inside my lot line, aimed at the invisible boundary between us. I started slow, a graceful arc of snow sailing onto her lawn. Then I cranked it up, blasting thick, wet piles against her garage door with a satisfying thud. Her car vanished under a mound. Mailbox? Gone. Porch? What porch? Newton watched from the window, tail wagging like he was binging his favorite show. To him, it must have been hilarious. 1 minute, his archenemy ruled the street like an ice queen. The next, she was entombed in my perfectly engineered avalanche. By morning, her house looked like a snow eraser had hit Edith's 6-foot wall, curved just enough to scream intentional. It was personal. It was a statement. Best part? She couldn't prove squat. My cam showed the cannon never left my property. Every flake landed on her side. No trespassing, no rules broken, just winter, redirected. Around 7 a.m., her front door rattled, followed by muffled shouts. It took her 20 minutes to dig it open enough to peek out. Her face emerged, wide-eyed, like a cartoon character mid-explosion. She stepped into the snow, sank to her thighs, and let out a scream that bounced down the street. Glorious. The plows hadn't come yet, so she was trapped, driveway blocked, walkway buried, garage sealed, my Snowblower entombed in her yard, GPS still pinging like a frosty screw you. By noon, she posted an emergency alert on the HOA app, ranting about malicious weather tampering and obstructed emergency access, tossing in some gibberish about homeowner intent and civil liability. 9 exclamation points in one paragraph. She was unhinged. The HOA tried to meddle. The fake president, Tom, texted me to clear the shared sidewalk per community rules. I sent him a pic of the snowbank and wrote, "Happy to help once Linda returns my stolen gear." Radio silence. By afternoon, she dug out her door but couldn't start her car, frozen solid. She stomped back inside after a tow truck said tomorrow. That night, I strolled with Newton, admiring my work. A neighbor, my Kia retired cop indifferent to HOA nonsense, called out, "You do that on purpose?" I shrugged. "Snow goes where it goes." He smirked. "Well, it's gorgeous." Linda went quiet, no posts, no rants. I pictured her stewing, plotting, sipping tepid tea. She wasn't the type to quit. She'd counterattack. Sure enough, next morning, a printed HOA letter was taped to my door, claiming I'd breached community climate protocols and demanding I attend an emergency meeting. I laughed so hard I nearly slipped. Round 2? Bring it on. The Zoom meeting was peak Linda PowerPoint called Climate Harassment, a neighborhood crisis, complete with animated snowflakes and a pie chart pinning 100 fan tram of snow aggression on me. Dramatic piano music played as she accused me of ice terrorism, her term, and demanded fines, sanctions, and my Snowblower's return, which she still had. I kept it simple, shared the GPS data showing my Snowblower's journey to her garage, paired with HD cam footage of her dragging it. Then the drone VDME snow cannon blasting from my property, snow arcing beautifully onto hers, never crossing the line. Silence. Tom muttered, "Technically, no rules broken." Linda exploded, called it a deep fake, claimed I had a tech guy faking data. Then I dropped the city inspector's letter. Her reckless snow dumping had clogged a drain and blocked a hydrant, earning her 3 violations. Her face went sour milk pale. She raged with the calm mid-sentence. She retaliated, stuffed my mailbox with wet mulch, filed a fake complaint about my illegal machinery. I showed the inspector my permits. He laughed it off. Then a neighbor's Kim caught her dumping rock salt on my fence, wasted effort on already salted ground. I sent it all to her husband, Stevie, a weary guy I'd met once with a note. Thought you should know. He replied, thanks, I'll handle it. Next day, my Snowblower reappeared on my driveway with a note. No hard feelings. Steve's handwriting, I'd bet. I thought it was over until a lawyer's letter arrived, hinting at a public nuisance investigation over my snow cannon. A bluff. I called. They dodged. Linda was desperate, flailing. I didn't escalate. Instead, I ran for HOA president. She'd ruled unopposed too long. I campaigned lightly, cleared paths, handed out cookies, let neighbors vent about her reign. My flyer, Newton in a snow hat, let it snow just not in your garage. Linda's? Stock photos and protecting our community from chaos. I won unanimously. She stormed out, put her house up for sale, and vanished in a beige SUV. I left ice cubes on her porch, in case you missed the Snowblower. Peace returned. The snow melted. Newton got chubby on treats. And the snow cannon? It's still in my garage, ready just in case.